Peace, love, and light, tribe. What's going on? It is your girl, Crystal Dior. Make sure you like, share, and follow for more. So, I am coming through with a video for any type of future vendors that would like to vend Odunde Festival here in Philadelphia. Okay, so let's just get to the video, okay? I already said make sure you like, share, and subscribe and join the tribe. Check out my MetaPhysical shop where you can find your handmade crystal, copper and crystal jewels and your spiritual tools. Book a personal reading with me or even a healing session. Let's start the video. Okay, so Odunde Festival is one of the biggest African festivals that they have here in Philadelphia. Okay, this is a huge festival. It is a huge festival. It's estimated to bring in 500,000 people all over. And they have vendors from all over. This festival starts around 17th and South Street and ends along Grays Ferry Avenue. I'm trying to think of the ending street. I think it was like almost like 25th and Grays Ferry Avenue, I want to say. But anyway, so um, it's large, okay? It's large. And to be honest, before me being a vendor at the festival, this past festival, I didn't even know it went that far, to be honest. I didn't even know it went towards Grays Ferry. I actually been to this festival several times in the past, and I never went to the Grays Ferry section. Really, I haven't. That festival is just so huge. That's why it's so huge. Okay, so if you wanted to vend this festival, this is not a cheap festival. Okay, you're going to be spending a couple $100s, and you're going to be spending at least over $500 to be a vendor if you just want just a basic setup. Now, if you want a tent, you're going to get that doubled. Okay, so with this festival, um, because it's a big festival and it's only one day, because it's a big 1 day festival, give me a sec. My apologies. Because it's a big 1 day festival, um, you're only going to be vending 1 day. So you're paying that price, 500 plus more for just a table. So think about that when you do vend. Is this something that I want to vend? Am I okay with circulating that much money? Right. Um, Now the event was from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it was about a 10-hour event. Now, it was long. It was long. I'm just giving y'all the basics and then I'm going to tell y'all about me. It was long. It's rain or shine. So it usually rain every Odunde day. Just know that as well. It usually do rain every Odunde day. Um, and you do need license and insurance. So they do want you to have insurance and they want you to have like your business license to vend the festival as well. All right, so let's talk about my experience being a vendor at Odunde, okay? So this was my first year actually being a vendor. As I said in the past, I used to always just go to Odunde and circulate my money as well. Okay, but like I said, it's huge. Okay, so like I always, as a vendor, excuse me, as a customer, I always started on 20th and South Street on Odunde. I always started on 20th South Street and just walk towards the stage. So I'll check out the vendors towards the stage. Unless I was looking for a particular item, I'll just enjoy what I see and just walk along towards the stage. And then once I'm done at the stage, I'll come back and then I'll probably walk more towards like 17th. And depending on what time I go, because I usually would go in the evening when it's about to wrap up, I literally probably peek down like 17th Street. I probably get to like 18th Street and then go about my business. Okay. Parking also wasn't the best. Okay. And that's also from a vendor and a customer standpoint. So parking ain't the best. So um, as a customer, what I would do is I would park closer to like Walnut Street or Chestnut Street, Walnut Street. I park like along 20th and Walnut or 20th and Chester, 19th, one of those streets. But I will walk down to South Street and then I will enjoy the festival because everything gets so tight and so blocked off, and you don't want to have to deal with the headache of traffic and twisting and turning. Now, if you want to do that, you can, but I don't mind walking because it's really not that long of a walk. It's probably like, I don't know how many blocks. It's probably like a good 4, 5 blocks. So you need to walk. You need to walk. Now, as a vendor, my experience as a vendor during Odunde. Now, I live in Philadelphia, but some people might be traveling. So I'll say this event that I did, because the show was from 10 to 8. They wanted the vendors to check in by 5 to 8. Okay, that was the cutout time. So, um it was already kind of like jam packed. Okay, I'll say that. I got there like around 6:30, 6:45, and it was still already kind of jam packed. Okay, as far as like them starting to block off roads and parking was jam packed already. Now this year when we checked in, they gave us a vendor's pass, and then they gave us 2 additional pass for people to wear at our booths at all times. They gave us a parking pass, so we had like free parking as a vendor. You just had to put that in your dashboard. So if PPA came, then you wouldn't be, they wouldn't give you a ticket. And yeah, so it was cut into 3 different zones. Okay, so zone one was from 17th and South to like 20th and South. Zone 2 was like 21st and South leading up until Bainbridge. So it was like 21st and South to like 23rd, 24th and South, because Zone 2 had the main stage at the end. But it did go surpass the main stage a little bit, and then it led into Grays Ferry Avenue, not Brainbridge. It led to Grays Ferry Avenue. Okay, so it's like 21st and South to like 24th and South leading to Grays Ferry Avenue. And then zone 3 is all Grays Ferry Avenue. So I was on zone 3. Now this is my first time vending, so I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I never, like I said, as a customer, I never been on Grays Ferry Avenue part. So I didn't really know what to expect because I've always been on South Street, and I always seen that the crowd was jam packed, especially when the main attraction come, because people come in for the entertainment. They come for the vibe in general, but they come in for the entertainment, the vibe. They want to see the performances and stuff like that. So South Street is always popping. So that's the zone 2 area. So when I was talking to one of the workers, and I was like, oh man, I'm on Grays Ferry Avenue. I don't know what to expect. He said, you should do good. He's like, because it's a stage at the end of Grays Ferry as well. They just didn't have the main attractions, but it was still a stage at the end of Grays Ferry. So they had 2 different stages. The main stage was zone 2, like at the end of at the like 23rd, 24th and South leading to Grays Ferry. And then they had the second stage at the end of Grays Ferry. And I feel like they might put the second stage there so you can still attract more people to come towards that part, you know what I'm saying, of Odunde. Now, I was a little bummed because I wanted to be on South Street because I've always known Odunde to be on South Street. I didn't know nothing about Grace Ferry, but it wasn't bad. It actually was a steady pace. It was a steady flow being placed at on Grace Ferry Avenue. It was a steady flow. So um my apologies. I'm still recovering, y'all. um the guy said the best zone was zone 2, then zone 3, which was Grace Ferry Avenue, then zone 1. That's what he said in his opinion. That's how he would say it. I feel like zone 2 would be the best zone in general because that's where like the congestion gonna be. It's gonna just be jam packed there because people want to stay close to the stage. That's just my opinion. But um, it did rain, so it did rain, and I'm trying to think. It was like on and off rain. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like steady rain, but people still was around. People were still shopping. They were still standing in line for their food. They had umbrellas. They kept it moving. Because if you are native in Philly, you know that it may rain. And in my mind, I said, I'm so spiritual. I said, did they do some type of spiritual dance or ritual to the gods? Because it always rain. What they trying to cleanse the people, cleanse the souls? I really think that though, because ever since I've been going to Odunde, I would say the last like 2017 and on, it rained at one point in time or another. It rained on Odunde Day every time I went from 2017 and on. So I will always just bring an umbrella just in case. Okay, but it was like it was like a steady flow. It was slow at first though. I'm not going to even lie. At first it was really slow. Like it was taking me a while to make like my first sale. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I actually got a $20 tip. So a brother came to my stand, and we was just talking. He was an E5 priest. He was an E5 priest, and we just talking spiritual talk. And he was like, well, since this is your first Adune day, I'ma bless you with something. So he prayed on the money, and then he gave me the 20. I was like, oh, look at that. Thank you. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, but I was grateful for that tip. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because he literally gave me money out his pocket. And he ain't know me from a can of paint, nor did he purchase anything from my shop. He literally just blessed me or whatever, gifted me. So that was cool. Now parking was a nightmare. Now mind you, I told you I checked in probably around 7 o'clock. So it's still early in the rising, right? And they wanted us to park along Christian Avenue. I think it's Christian Avenue or Street. Um, I'm gonna say Christian Street. They want us to park along Christian Street. So we're looking for parking. So all of us vendors that's in zone 3, like where we park, where we park. I got tired. I was looking for parking for about a half an hour, and I just went down one of the little side blocks. And I said I'm gonna just park here and walk, cause you already was able to load. You was already you was already able to unload. So I unloaded, and then I just went, and I literally like was looking for parking for 30 minutes. Okay. So, what is going on? My bad, y'all. Son. Anyway, my bad, y'all. So, I went and was looking for parking, and I found it on a side street, and they didn't give me a ticket. I put the zone 3 parking pass in my window, so they didn't give me a ticket. So I was grateful for that. And it was a cool show. Ultimately, like the people cool. The one thing I would say is, some people know Philly for violence and stuff like that, But with Odunde, it's nothing but love. It's a really cool festival, for real, for real. Like, it was a long day though for me as a vendor, cause I literally, like I said, I woke up at 5. I ended up getting down there at 6:45. Then we have to wait until like the streets are almost cleared before they start letting us get our cars to load in. So my cousin was helping me out. So me and my cousin literally like rolled my stuff to my car. It was like blocks away, but we had to do what we had to do because by the time they started letting us get our cars to pull in, I was basically almost done. So at the end of the day, and then where I was parked at, it was this big trash truck that was still blocking the path. So I would have had to go around and around and around to get to the street that led me to get my car. And then everybody trying to do that too. So it just made more sense for me to literally like just take my stuff to my car. But I ended up getting home like around 11 o'clock. So 5 a.m. to 11, give or take. You know what I'm saying? So it was a really long day. I mean, I did make my table back, and I did make my table back, which I'm grateful for. Um, I did cool. You know what I'm saying? For it to be a 1 day event, I did cool. Like I compared things to like my other events as well. Like I think it would be a really good event if they had it as a 2 day event. If they had it like as a 2 day event and maybe like cut the hours from like 10 to like 6 or even 7, and then, or if they did the 1 day 10 to 8 and then the second day like 10 to 5, that would be like cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just don't let it be that long, because that's just taxing on a person's body. But that's probably why it's only 1 day. So, I mean, I understand, but it just took a lot. Like, I'm still beat. Like, I'm still beat up from it, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, it was a lot of energies. Like, now, I had some additional, outside of a Dune Day, I had some additional energies, though, that literally was like, ah. So, as a vendor, I'm really into ancient Egypt theology. So, like, I always have, like, my backdrop with me if I'm doing readings. So, I did a few readings there, but it got a little busy. So, I stopped promoting the readings and just was working my shop. But I did a few readings there, and I had my, like, ancient Egyptian background up. And everybody, and I had on all white, too. So, I was wearing all white, head to toe, all white. And, people was asking me to take my picture. They was asking me to take pictures with me. They was asking me for hugs, y'all. And I had a neighbor that was like undermining me the whole time. Like, she find out something about me. She started talking about me loud, and I'm just like, I don't understand people energy like that. And she was older than me. She had to be in her 50s. You know what I'm saying? Um, and my mom, I don't understand people energies like that because at the end of the day, it's like, sis, we all here to make money, right? You selling charm bracelets. That's totally an ear like gold and silver plated earrings. That's totally different than what I'm selling. You know, like, or are you upset with my energy? What is it, sis? Cause then, she had something to say when the guy helped me with my tent. She had something to say about me, what I was selling. She was trying to take my customers from me, okay? And then at the end of it, she started speaking in tongues and just was hyper staring at me and my cousin. My cousin said she was doing it to me first. When my cousin told me to look at her, she started doing it to my cousin. And in my mind, I'm like, ma'am, y'all, I don't know if y'all seen my short when I was talking about it, but she was just like this. La da da dum 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 la da da dum 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 la da. I'm like this. Ma'am, I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I don't even care. I don't even care no more. I ain't care in the beginning. But you doing this for what? Shouldn't you be focused on loading your car? Like, lady, please, please. It was weird. Her and that lady was weird, y'all, for real. And I was like, The event itself was cool. I just ran into a couple like little weird situations. So, but overall, if you was thinking about vending this event, I would highly recommend it, especially if you have the money and if you feel like you have a good product to sell, or if you do sell your things, um, and they do produce you like revenue or income. I would recommend doing it. It is an African event, so you could try to get things geared towards like African culture. Or if you have a business that stands out that is like universal, that would be good too. They had all types of food vendors there, but you need your licenses as well for that. But I would recommend it. I feel like it was an investment, but it was just a long day and you do need help. So you're going to need at least one additional person, just because like your table can have nobody at the table and then it can have five people at the table, okay? And four eyes is better than two eyes. Like I do a lot of my events solo and I'm able to maintain the crowd most times, but and I just pray that people be honest. But some events you need help, you gotta ask for help. So at the end of the day, y'all, that's my spiel on doing the Odunde Festival in Philadelphia. Like I said, it is worth it. It's yearly. It's always the first. It's always like the second Sunday of June. Always the second Sunday of June each year. Um, so I hope this helps. If you was considering it, um, do it. Do it. And even if you're on Grace Ferry Ave, it wasn't a bad thing. It still was people there. So that's its own section. Everyone have its own section. I just feel like the one right there off of 21st and South, the 23rd, 24th and South is the best, to be honest, because I'm just used to being in that area. But Grace Ferry Avenue was good too. They had a good crowd. It was steady. It was steady. So, and they had a stage at the end too. So, the full event itself, if you can get through it, get through it. But as a vendor, I was a buyer and a vendor. I mean, I was only able to buy a few things because I still had to stay near my stand. But I bought from three different vendors itself too, or whatever. I had to get some mud cloth. I got a mud cloth hat. Um, Dang, I'm about to bring it up here to show y'all. So I got a mud cloth hat. I bought two mud cloth blankets, and then I bought some cattle horn bangles.